Few names have shaped the story of Indian fashion like Reena Dhaka, a designer known not just for creativity but for her deep commitment to sustainability and craft revival. Today, we explore how fashion, MSMEs, and mindful innovation can come together to create a more inclusive and sustainable fashion future. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us. My first question to you, you've long championed traditional crafts and sustainable fashion. Can you talk about the critical role that MSMEs, especially, say, weaving clusters, artisan communities play in making all of this possible?
See, at the base of the great history of India is our craftsmen. That is what interests designers or communities from all over the world, where fashion and our textiles will be like lead inspirations for students of fashion, for designers, not just in India, for the world. A lot of the inspiration comes from our tradition of weavers, and it is tragic that now a lot of the traditional generational passing of knowledge to the weavers and the weaving families, a few sectors are very poorly they are not able to sustain themselves, and a lot of them are leaving these trades to maybe survive in towns and metros, maybe as security, as drivers, as guards, as all that. And they are giving up the family-run heritage of learning how to carry on with the practice of weaves and sustainable craft forms. Some weaving techniques have gone on to do very well with the incentive, with the push of fashion and the buying cycles.
Right. Rewear, rebuild, revive could easily be the name of this session. So let's start with your appeal for Rewear. You have advocated the cause of 30 wears rule, but in an age dominated by social media, where we are mostly showcased unattainable fashion goals, where only a handful of celebs regularly advocate rewearing clothes, what has been your experience with your appeal?
The Peter repeater is actually the way one has to be going forward, because we experience, especially living in Delhi, so many hardships relating to pollution, skin ailments, all thriving from somewhere where we all can contribute ourselves. It's not very hard to do. Simple. Men are generally the pioneers in this. They do rewear a lot of their fashion. So I'm grateful to them, and they become, let's follow them, is to rewear your clothes, because mostly, averagely, they say 20% of your wardrobe is what women rewear. 80% is probably one wear. And the more we wear the same clothes, the lesser the chances of us adding to the pollution caused by clothing, filament, and the leftover salvages of clothing. If you know, in Delhi, in Gandhinagar, we already own 4 mountains such of katrans or leftover fabrics, and nothing has been done about it. So let's not make another mountain of it, because that is where it ends up. And also not to wash our clothes so much. So night suits, things we wear every day. I understand we're in a hot city, but at least 2 runs or 3 runs we can do of some of the clothes to reduce the use of bleach and other chemicals. Water is going to be scarcity. So how to, the cycles have to be reduced, basically. Simple tricks like that really help me. And I hope people in my audience will go back and start repeating their clothes.
Right. While you have advocated the 30 wears rule, how do you think we can popularize them more?
I think by just telling them it's cool to rewear your clothes or to be seen in them. Because we seem to have this fear that if we go out and I've just worn this, I can't wear the same thing again to the party because all my friends have seen me in it. Mm-hmm. And if you see Angelina Jolie, or Kate Middleton, they are being praised by media all over because they go on to publicly rewear the clothes they have worn. In fact, once I remember there was a joke, a friend of mine, because a working person, I was rewearing a dress which sort of fitted, worked for a party, and I quickly said, oh, the same guys are not going to be there. And I wore the same dress 3 nights in a row.
Right.
And a friend of my husband said to him, tere kol paye veh nahi hai, roz ye same kapde pehndi hai.
Right. We'll move back to our conversation about MSMEs. You are a front runner when it comes to promoting Indian traditional craft. And there are many MSMEs in India who specialize in exquisite handwork but struggle to scale or even access markets. As a leading designer, what do you think needs to change? Policy, maybe better business models, so that these MSMEs can be promoted?
I think joining the dots. I understand the government is spending. I understand the government is making all these initiatives for the MSMEs and other schemes to bring many such traditional skills to life or to be able to sustain them. The problem is skilling. Like say in Jharkhand, when I worked with Jharkhand, the government, their fabric of the weavers and the tribals, now that fabric was very good for home. And for countries like Scandinavia, they would welcome it because it felt so good on the hand because it was sustainable, it was organic. But there was nobody who was an expert to advise the right guys that let's put these and expose there. So someone who has knowledge, especially when it comes to textile, or it could be accessorization, it could be jewelry. You need experts from the industry to join hands and to be able to make quick changes because these things have to be done quickly. It is no point if they go through millions and millions of undoable paperwork, which nobody in real life has time to do, especially the guy who is your weaver. The weaver either will earn a dihadi to survive, or he has to go on to earn his day's bread. He has no time to attend speech or doing these things. So he needs just a direction, the right markets, and the right joining of the dots. Then the ability to able to change the design. If the design has to be tweaked to times, somebody needs to be able to convince them or give them the money to do it.
You've been a front runner in talking about Indian textiles, fabrics. You think designers like you could come together and that could be the first step towards helping these, because most of them are not even MSMEs, they're actually small businesses.
Exactly. So I would love to do it because it's kind of a passion, and my wish would be that some art form which has gone kind of extinct, almost like a fossil, we need to revive it. We need to make it more contemporary, where people like me, you, and some in the audience, both men and women and children, are able to wear it and to use it in their daily life. And there is a trickle-down effect of these things. It will go back and generate income for the people of that tribe or whatever they're doing it. Like Northeast has its own virtues. South India will have its own virtues, but there are many such art forms. Like Delhi itself has a great weaving centers here. We need to the Mexicans would love it because they're like ribozzo. They make those very well.
Well, it's, a pleasure listening to you just talking about all of this. Have you ever thought of perhaps, liaising with the government to make it and advocate whatever you're saying?
See, we would love to do it. It's just that it seems so complicated, to be honest.
Right. But is it so complicated?
It is complicated but there are experts we can identify for every field.
Right.
People like us who have been in the trade for so long.
Right.
And, bring in the specialist because he will give back. Which one of us won't give back to our country? We will.
Of course.
We love it. It would be like a pleasure. And to see it bloom and for it to give us benefit because it's not just a one-way street.
Right. So you're saying the initiative has to start perhaps from the government?
Because they're already doing it. It's not like they're not spending. They've just complicated it. They need to simplify it.
Let me ask you a simple question. In an era of fast fashion, how can partnerships between designers and small businesses help promote slower and perhaps more sustainable consumption?
So India is a country of slow fashion, actually. Our saris are the way we wear it. In fact, if you go back into the lives of our grandmas, they were right. They never threw anything. Right. They just recycled it into a patchwork gadda or something. It became a throw, but it stayed on for a lifetime. So, or the raddiwala took it and remade it into a bag. So, the learning is from them. So, I feel fashion and its wearers are now both have to be responsible, where they need to understand that if they're buying fast fashion, to limit its use. You must limit it or wear it many times for God's sake. That way you're limiting it.
Yes.
And then fast fashion is also, it's a catch-22. our city, our country, we produce a lot of the fast fashion. It also gives employment to a lot of our people in our trade. So if fast fashion is to work, it has to work with conscious. But a lot of the fast fashion buyers internationally, like I work with anthropology, now we cannot ship our goods in plastic anymore. So there are changes people and big companies are making, and we will need to adopt these same policies ourselves.
You know, you've been part of initiatives like Re.Purpose. Sustainable Romanticism was the name of one of your collections. How can designers inspire more and more Pret labels to adopt eco-friendly practices without making it, you know, economically burdensome for them or even for the consumers?
The supply line, basically the eco-friendly fabrics, like Levi is doing a lot of good work, even though it's in rayon and all. And just now I met Mr. Jain, who said he recycles plastics and he makes his plastic bottles into fiber or fabric. But to be aware of the storyline, and the other thing is the supply line is still higher priced.
Yes.
Than what the other choices a person has. But if with the demand growing, which can only grow if we as consumers are aware and we start consuming it, not maybe in excess, but the demand will then grow and the price ranges need to come down to become contemporary.
So basic economics, the economies of scale
Yeah,
need
exactly.
to balance. My final question to you before I let you go. If you had to imagine the future of Indian fashion 5 years from now, what would it be and what role would small businesses play in it?
I think India's fashion story has just begun. We will have a very big role to play in the whole world. Our design community is well trained today. We've had a good 20 years of having fashion schools in India, which have taught these young students very well. And my biggest dream, if I may say it, to this important people platform is that we need to remove that katrans. Everyone needs to take a train ride to Gandhinagar and see them for themselves and find ways to be able to get rid of them and to reduce that waste and the colossal damage it is doing to each one of us.
Thank you so much, Reena. It was lovely listening to the sustainability threads that you wove in front of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.